Welcome back to the channel, my friends. Warhammer Man Studios, I'm Warhammer Man, and today we're taking a look at the next grot detachment for Chaos Space Marines. This video is sponsored by the Game Bunker. More on that later. Alright, so let's take a look at the new Chaos Space Marine detachment, Nightmare Hunt. So first off, we have the detachment rule, Terror Made Manifest. In the battle shock step of your opponent's command phase, if an enemy unit that is below its starting strength is within 12 inches of one or more heretic Astartes units from your army, that enemy unit must take a battle shock test, subtracting 1 from the result. Enemy units affected by this detachment rule do not need to take any other battle shock tests in the same phase. Alright, so very similar to the old Chaos Knights detachment rule, which was very good. Each time a heretic Astartes model from your army makes an attack that targets a unit below half strength, add 1 to the hit roll. Each time an attack targets a heretic Astartes unit from your army, if the attacking model is battle shock, subtract 1 from the hit roll. And then each time a heretic Astartes model from your army makes an attack that targets a battle shocked unit, add 1 to the wound roll. Alright, so when you attack a unit that is below half strength, you're going to be +1 to hit. When a battle shocked unit targets you, they're going to be -1 to hit. And then when you target a battle shocked unit, you're going to be +1 to wound. So some of these buffs can stack pretty hard. Obviously, your detachment rule is going to be battle shocking stuff left and right. And then you're going to be hitting them better if they are below half strength. And then you're going to be wounding them better if they are battle shocked, and they're going to be hitting you worse. So definitely some nice buffs right here. But you're going to need some battle shock tokens. And then we have our 4 enhancements. We have the Greyveil Hex, Chaos Lord model only. Models in the bearer's unit have the stealth ability. While the bearer's unit is within range of one or more objective marker you control, that unit can only be selected by the target of range attacks if the attacking model is within 18 inches. Alright, so the entire unit's going to get stealth, so they're going to be -1 to be hit at range. And then if they are within range of an objective marker, you can't target them if you're outside 18 inches. So again, really strong. And then we have warp-fueled thrusters, Chaos Lord jump pack model only. At the end of your opponent's fight phase, if the bearer's unit is not within engagement range of one or more enemy units, you can remove the bearer's unit from the battlefield and place it into strategic reserves. Alright, so you can only put this on a Chaos Lord with jump pack, but his entire unit can be picked back up off the table at the end of your opponent's fight phase if they're not in combat. So very strong ability. And then we have the Terror Glut Parasite, Heretic Astartes model only. At the start of the fight phase, each time an enemy unit within engagement range of the bearer's unit takes a battle shock test, subtract 1 from the result. So you're already going to have 1 from your army rule, so this is going to stack a -2 modifier, making them even more likely to fail a battle shock test. So very good. And then we have the Sarosent Vulture, Chaos Lord jump pack model only. Models in the bearer's unit have the Scout 6 ability. In the declare battle formation step, the bearer can be attached to a Warp Talon unit. Alright, so you can attach this character to a Warp Talon unit, which is something that you otherwise can't do. And the Warp Talons have a ton of volume of attacks, but they're missing like that big hard hitter. So this is going to fill that gap, and then the entire unit, including the Chaos Lord with jump pack, is going to have Scout 6, which means they're going to be getting into combat even sooner. So these are some really nice enhancements. I think the hardest part is going to be picking which 3 you take, because all 4 are good. Alright, and then we have our 6 stratagems. So first off, we have Talons Sunk Deep. 1 command point, your shooting phase or fight phase. 1 Heretic Astartes infantry unit from your army that has not been selected to shoot or fight this phase. Effect until the end of the phase. Each time a model in the unit makes an attack that targets a unit that is battle shocked and or below half strength, improve the armor penetration characteristic of the attack by 1. So shooting or fight phase, target a unit that's either battle shocked or below half strength. Extra AP, very good. And then Prey on the Weak, 1 command point, your shooting phase or fight phase. Target a Heretic Astartes infantry unit from your army that has not been selected to shoot or fight this phase. Effect until the end of the phase. Each time a model in the unit makes an attack that targets a unit that is battle shocked and or below half strength, you can reroll the hit roll. So same thing, shoot or fight phase, target a unit that's either below half strength or battle shocked, reroll all of your hits. Again, very strong. Now a quick word from today's sponsor, Game Bunker. Game Bunker carries a full range of Games Workshop products, including miniatures, terrain, paint, tools, and more. Game Bunker offers 15% off MSRP for most Games Workshop products with the discount code WHMS. Receive free shipping in the continental United States on orders over $145. Online orders ship out within 24 hours. Game Bunker is a veteran-owned business. Use affiliate link below, enter discount code WHMS to save 15% on most items at checkout. For fast, friendly service with a discount on your favorite tabletop wargaming purchases, visit GameBunker.net and let them know that Warhammer Man sent you. And then we have Sadistic Display, 1 command point, fight phase just after a Heretic Astartes unit from your army destroys an enemy unit. Target that Heretic Astartes unit. Affect each enemy unit within 6 and visible to your unit, excluding monsters and vehicles, must make a battle shock test. So in the fight phase, you kill a unit, and then everybody within 6 that's not a monster or vehicle has to make a battle shock test. So definitely can be strong. A little bit situational, but if you have like a big 10 or 11 man unit with a character attached, you kill a unit and then you're in the heart of your opponent's army, you could be forcing like a battle shock test on multiple units for 1 command point. And because it happens just after in the fight phase, you could potentially cause stuff to fail battle shock test and then be able to stack some of your buffs or use additional stratagems in that same phase to gain some of your cool army rule buffs. And then we have Malicious Surge, 1 command point, your charge phase, 1 Heretic Astartes infantry unit from your army. Effect until the end of the phase, your unit is eligible to declare a charge in a turn in which it advanced. So extremely strong. You can advance and charge. So potentially coupled with like the enhancement, you could scout, you can move 12, you can advance another d6, and then you could still be eligible to charge on turn 1. Very strong stratagem for 1 command point. Definitely going to be using this like every turn, at least in the early game. So then we have Relentless Terror, 1 command point, your movement phase, just after a Heretic Astartes infantry unit from your army falls back. That Heretic Astartes unit, until the end of the turn, the unit is eligible to shoot and declare a charge in a turn in which it fell back. So fallback, shoot, and charge, again, very strong for a combat army, 1 command point. And then finally we have Horrific Incursion, 1 command point, your movement phase, 1 Heretic Astartes unit from your army that arrived from Deep Strike this turn. Effect, select the enemy unit, excluding monsters and vehicles within 12 and visible to the unit. The unit must make a battle shock test, subtracting 1 from the result. So you pop in from reserves, spend a command point, and then a unit within 12 has to make a battle shock test at an additional -1. So again, potential to stack buffs and cause like extra battle shock tests, which can stack even more buffs, like -1 to be hit, +1 to hit, or +1 to wound. You got a bunch of really strong abilities. This detachment has a bunch of really good stuff that all works together. At its peak power, the Chaos Knights detachment was like pretty strong, and this is using a lot of those same mechanics. It's going to be better into armies with lower leadership values, but stacking like -1 or potentially -2 or even more, and then making them take out of phase battle shock tests can ensure that they're going to be failing some of their battle shock tests, stacking up some of your buffs and then some of the debuffs on them. So very good detachment. I think overall, this is a very cool detachment. It's extremely thematic. It is definitely leaning in on like the Night Lord's detachment and giving you everything you want. It has all of the various different tools that you would want. Advance and charge, fallback, shoot and charge, battle shock with some really nice buffs. It has 4 really good enhancements. It has 6 very nice stratagems. Probably 4 of them you're going to be wanting to use like every turn. So it's going to be a tough decision as to which ones to use. But I think overall, this is an extremely good detachment. Arguably one of, if not the best, Chaos Space Marine detachment, depending on what type of army you're looking to play. So definitely a big fan of this. I do think this is going to be very competitive. It's going to be a little bit of a higher skill army, and you're going to have to actually build your list according to like what you plan on doing every turn. You're not just going to be taking your existing list and just throwing it into this detachment. I mean, you can do that, but if you want to optimize it, you're definitely going to want to build your list with this detachment in mind. So very cool, very thematic, and definitely going to be very competitive. Let me know what you think of the Nightmare Hunt. Is there anything in particular that you think is a little too strong or anything that it's missing? Always like to hear back from you guys in the comments. And as always, special thanks to the Game Bunker for sponsoring the channel. Check out the link in the description to save 15% on most Games Workshop products at checkout. Warhammer Man Studios, I'm Warhammer Man, and I am loving this Grotmist detachment, and I'm out of here.